Well, it's a fantastic, beautiful sunny day, and I couldn't resist bringing my wheel outside here on the decking again. So I'm afraid you're going to have to put up with the sound, that awful sound of the river. I like it, but I appreciate it's not always so good for people on the other end who are trying to listen. However, let's try and make it a good visual experience, so it won't be too bad. Let's just bring you down here on the wheel. I'll show you just what I'm trying to do. As you can see, I've got a pot here because I'm in the process of just trimming off some small tea bowls. So this one's actually just about done now. Now these ones are done in such a way, I'm trimming them in such a way that the rims are not coming in contact with the hard surface of the wheel head, but they're held on this fist, if you like, or whatever you want to call it. So that's just I just wanted to take it off to show you, but it's so firmly attached. But basically you throw that form, you see, and make it wider in the base, because that gives it stability, and then you can slightly taper it coming up with a top like that, which is then going to take the next tea bowl. So plastic is flying around. Okay, so just going to damp the top of that. In the process of trying to take it off, I've slightly uncentered it, but it doesn't matter, it's okay. So that you see sits on there like that. I just need to true it up though. Okay? Should we bring the camera in for a little bit of detail? I know you like that. It's always good to have a bit of detail, isn't it? So there he is. Now when you're trimming, well, how I like to trim is not with the wheel going around at 100 miles an hour, okay? Just take it a little slowly so you can sort of impart some feeling into the work that you're doing, that it's not just high speed, machining we're doing here. We're trying to sort of give a bit of flavour to the clay. Alright? The problem with the electric wheels of today is they can go suddenly so fast, can't they? They can slow and the next minute go and it's we want to give a bit of character to the foot. And you're not going to give character to the foot by going too fast. So slow down a touch. the fast lives we lead, isn't it? We've got this microwave mentality. Everything's got to be now. It's got to be immediate. It's the wrong mentality for doing this kind of work. Okay, so when you're cutting the foot with the trimming tool, what are we looking for? What are we trying to achieve? It's a very good question, and I don't know if I can even answer it myself, but I try to give it some sort of feeling, you know, that it's. I like the sensation that the freshly cut clay with the trim tool. I like the effect that the trim tool gives to the clay when it's cut freshly. There's something rather nice about it. The trouble is, it's difficult to give that, to impart that sense of that feeling to the clay. If the wheel is going too fast, you can't do it. Sometimes there comes a little squiggle in the center, and I like that sometimes. It doesn't bother me, you know. In other words, there is a certain sense of beauty in irregularity. In this kind of work, we're not trying to reproduce something that's machine made. A slight wobble, a slight unevenness is sometimes something we look for. I don't personally like it if it's contrived. I like it to happen naturally. So we're getting the wheel going again slowly, you see. Cutting with a fair amount of broad strokes, shaving the clay away. Getting to know the tool and how it cuts. It's a bit like cooking, you know, when you're doing a bit of cooking, you're standing over the pot and you're tasting it and you're thinking, it needs something. What does it need, you know? And you think, oh yes, a teaspoonful of vinegar, maybe, to give it that just. I like to say, you know, when you're tasting something, it doesn't quite taste. It hasn't quite got there, you know, it needs something, but you're not quite sure. I kind of think of it hasn't quite turned the corner, you know, it needs to turn the corner. Well, I'm looking at my clay and I'm looking at my pot and I'm thinking, it just needs something sometimes just to turn the corner. Usually I find if one is too pernickety about it and is trying to cut too delicately, too preciously, you're not going to get that. You've got to cut it in some way with a certain boldness to bring out this character. I don't want it to sound all heady and intellectual, because it's not about that. It's actually about simplicity and approaching the material in a very direct way. Again, this one has got a, I don't know if you can see, a bit of a squiggle there, but I quite like that. Let's try one more. God, it's getting hot out here. See, this is preserving the rims from getting squared off by pressure on here. This, if you're trimming on the wheel head like that, it can take away a lot from the rim and make it look too flat and too sterile. Sometimes, again, it's that character thing we're looking for. By trimming off one of these, I'm not allowing the rim to come in contact with that surface. So, another thing to bear in mind when doing this kind of trimming, don't cut the clay when it's too hard. You need to get it at the right hardness, softness. This is feeling about right for me. It's just stiff enough that I can work it, but it's not so hard that it's don't touch it anymore, you see. Sometimes that's enough, no more. We always want to go back one more time, don't we? Okay folks, that's it. Make yourself one of these, I guess you'd call it a chuck, like this, and do some T-bowls, and then get practicing. See you soon.